Imagine walking into a room filled with hundreds of the world's top medical professionals, and instead of being recognized for your groundbreaking research, your accent becomes a punchline. That happened to Dr. Benjamin Kalu, a black neurosurgeon originally from Nigeria, universally acknowledged as the preeminent expert in microvascular brain surgery. When he presented at a prestigious neurology conference, they didn't listen to his decades of training, innovation, and life-saving surgeries. They focused on the way he spoke. He arrived at the conference well prepared, having flown across continents, eager to share his latest breakthrough, a technique blending robotic microsutures with real-time imaging that reduced complication rates in cerebral aneurysm surgery. He had dozens of peer-reviewed papers published, patients flew in from across the globe for his care, and major journals had featured his work. But when he uncrated his presentation clicker, that slipped from people's minds. From the moment he began speaking, there was restless shifting in chairs. Degrees of silence distracted attention. Someone in the first row leaned over and whispered to a colleague. It wasn't about his slides. They were sharp, full of elegant diagrams. It wasn't about his evidence. Charts showed statistically significant improvements. It was about his voice, strong, measured, non-American English intonation. A few snickers escaped. Someone chuckled softly at a phrase he used. And in the silence that followed, the joke grew. Someone murmured, "Why can't his English sound American?" Heads nodded. Faint laughter spread from back to front. Dr. Kalu continued. He finished cleanly. He maintained professionalism, but inside he felt a quiet ache. He trained for 3 decades to reach this stage, to teach, to improve care, but was being heard as entertainment. After the session, applause was minimal. A handful of polite nods. One attendee said, "Could you email a version in standard English for our publication?" His expert colleagues didn't ask about robotics or outcomes. They asked if he could speak differently. He left the podium and quietly took a seat in a hallway lounge, reviewing his notes. Minutes ticked by before Dr. Harris, a trusted white colleague, joined him. "Don't let them define you," Dr. Harris said in a low tone. "In the next session, I've asked to schedule your live surgery feed. Let's let your work speak." That evening, he returned to his hotel room and edited video of a surgery, captured with ultra-high-definition scopes. He narrated every step in his native accent, precise terminology, when to place the microsuture, how to handle arterial flow without compromising tissue integrity. He captioned key lines like arteriotomy site, collateral anastomosis, hemostasis, so viewers could track medical language even if the accent felt different. He titled the session clearly, "Live Microvascular Reconstruction of Intracranial Vasculature by Dr. Benjamin Kalu." The next morning, the breakout room filled up. About 100 doctors, residents, and attendees sat hopeful, curious, maybe skeptical. As the video played, dissecting vessels under magnification, robotic arms repairing submillimeter vessels, the audience leaned in. He spoke. "Here's the anterior communicating artery. Note the branch points. This is where typical aneurysm forms." His voice was strong, patient, resolute. Afterwards, people raised hands. "What's your robotic tracking resolution at that magnification? What's your 5-year follow-up rate on vessel patency? How does your method compare with traditional endovascular approaches?" He answered each question with confidence, citing trials, complication percentages, and long-term functional outcomes. Someone asked about the sugar-based suture dye he patented. Another inquired about patient selection criteria. No one commented on accent. They were focused on genius. That room became a turning point. Attendees stayed seated, eyes attentive until the last detail. Several introduced themselves afterward, not as critics, but as students. Some said quietly, "Thank you." One young woman, voice firm, asked, "Could you mentor me?" That was the moment he realized something changed. His work transcended language. Word quickly spread through the conference. Gentle praise, apologies even, trickled in. A few people said they regretted their earlier behavior. One senior neurologist told him, "I judged before I listened. I'm sorry." He accepted with calm grace. We're all learning. Later at a gala dinner, he and Dr. Harris sat at a table with influential award committees, grant donors, editors of major medical journals. A toast came. to Dr. Benjamin Kalu, who reminded us what precision really is. Glasses clinked. Applause rose. This time there was no irony in the tone, only recognition. That same night, someone commented, "We judge the voice, but the hands tell the story." The room was respectful. He didn't publicize the moment. No dramatic posts, no self-references. Yet a major medical news outlet ran an article with a headline, "When Accent Bias Almost Overshadowed the World's Best Brain Surgeon." Readers shared stories. "I judged someone's knowledge based on their accent and later regretted it." It sparked deeper reflection in forums, classrooms, editorial boards. Bias was being called out, named, and dismantled. Back in Chicago, he resumed his work, operating, teaching, collaborating. His surgical team said he became even more compassionate. During pre-operation walkthroughs, he took extra time explaining procedures, sharing personal anecdotes to put patients at ease. "Your voice is calm," one patient said, "like medicine in itself." A visiting resident said, "Your accent never made it harder to understand. If anything, it made your explanations more compelling." Months later, the same summit invited him back as the keynote speaker. This time, the program page read simply, "Dr. Benjamin Kalu, Neurosurgeon. No origin country, no accent caveats, no novelty angle." As he walked on stage, applause echoed before he spoke. He began, "Precision in surgery matters, but so does empathy in listening." His accent resonated. He shared a story. "When someone tells us sound American to feel legitimate, they're asking us to erase identity. And excellence emerges when identity is honored, not muted." A young English-trained doctor approached him after and said, "Your presentation made me rethink how I interpret speech. Accent should never define competence." That was victory, not vindication, but transformation. Reflecting on it, he said, "Mocking accent felt like mocking identity and intellect stripped down by bias. But when he let his video and scientific clarity speak, judgment fell silent. He turned a painful moment into an opportunity, teaching not just how to repair vessels, but also how to confront prejudice through humility, knowledge, persistence." This wasn't about one man receiving recognition. It was about changing a culture. Across medical journals, commentary shifted, from worrying about global English accents to celebrating diverse voices. His example helped institutions expand their recruitment and training, welcoming surgeons from Africa, Asia, Latin America without accent stigma. Many readers and doctors wrote that they would change how they evaluated international medical graduates. Some institutions created accent-blind evaluation panels for presentations. The story spread beyond medicine. Podcasts featured episodes titled, "Why Accent Isn't Competence." University departments shared case studies. Dr. Kalu's presentation bias resulted in the institution, including cultural competency training in faculty orientation. A major medical school introduced mandatory diversity modules on perception bias in academia. All because someone listened eventually, not to the voice, but to the message. He never forgot the sting of that first session, but he also never forgot what happened after. He said his greatest legacy wasn't the surgeries or papers, but empathy rebuilt in a room of peers. Ironically, he used bias to show leadership. Instead of bitterness, he offered education. Instead of silence, he used his voice. Now he travels globally, training neurosurgeons, collaborating at clinics in sub-Saharan Africa, Asia, Latin America. Every time he opens his mouth, he carries both the memory of bias and the confidence of competence. And he knows this. Excellence isn't measured by the tone of one's voice, but by the impact of one's work. So that's the full, deeply detailed story. They mocked a black man's accent. He was the world's top neurosurgeon. They nearly missed genius, but he used it to teach, to heal, to change assumptions. Science ultimately transcends speech. Humanity should always see the person before judging the voice. If you're watching this now, hit subscribe for more stories about courage, identity, and confronting bias with brilliance. Like if this challenged the way you hear people. Comment below. Have you ever been underestimated because of how you speak? How did you respond? Share this video with someone who needs the reminder. Listening beyond accent opens the way for real understanding and excellence.